On December 4, 1872, a ship spotted another vessel drifting in the middle of the Atlantic. She was still under partial sail, still floating, still seaworthy, but there was nobody on board. Not the captain. Not his wife. Not his baby daughter. Not a single crew member. The food was there. The cargo was there. Their personal belongings were untouched. The only thing missing was the lifeboat, and every person who'd been alive on that ship 10 days earlier. None of them were ever seen again. To understand this mystery, you have to go back a bit. The Mary Celeste wasn't always called that. She was built in Spencer's Island, Nova Scotia, on the Bay of Fundy, and launched in 1861 under a British flag with the name Amazon. And right from the start, she had bad luck. On her very first voyage, her captain fell ill after loading the cargo and died within days. Later she collided with fishing gear off Maine, then ran into and sank another ship in the English Channel. In 1867 a storm drove her ashore and wrecked her so badly her owners just walked away. That should have been the end of her. But she wasn't finished. An American mariner bought the wreck for a small sum and poured money into restoring her. In 1868 he registered her in New York under a brand new name, Mary Celeste. Ownership changed hands a few times after that. Then, in early 1872, she got a major refit that made her bigger and stronger. A second deck was added. Timbers were replaced. By the fall of that year she was worth a lot, and part of her was owned by the man who'd take her out on her most famous voyage. That man was Benjamin Spooner Briggs. He was born in Massachusetts in 1835, the son of a sea captain, one of several brothers who all went to sea. Briggs was a serious, religious man. He read his Bible, spoke at prayer meetings. He'd married his cousin Sarah, and they had 2 children. And here's the part that makes this story hit harder, this wasn't just business. Briggs had invested his own savings into the Mary Celeste. He believed in her. So when she left New York on November 7, 1872, bound for Genoa, he brought his wife and his little daughter along for the trip. Almost a month later, a Canadian ship called the Dei Grazia was crossing the same stretch of ocean off the Azores. Her crew spotted the Mary Celeste. Something was wrong with the way she was moving. They watched her, then went aboard. And that's when the strangeness started. The ship was messy but sound. She was still floating fine. There was plenty of food and water left. The cargo, barrels of alcohol, was still there, intact. The captain's and crew's things were right where they'd left them. But the lifeboat was gone. And the last entry in the ship's log was dated 10 days earlier. Whatever happened, everyone had left in a hurry, and nobody had come back. The Dei Grazia crew sailed her into Gibraltar to claim a salvage reward. That's when the real suspicion kicked in. The court looked hard at every ugly possibility. Was it mutiny? Did the crew turn on Briggs? Was it piracy? Had the Dei Grazia's own men done something and made up a story? Was the whole thing an insurance or salvage scam? They dug into all of it. But here's the thing, they couldn't find real evidence for any of it. No blood that told a clear story. No proof of foul play. In the end the court gave the Dei Grazia crew a salvage award, but a low one, because the suspicion never fully went away. So what actually happened? Over the years people have thrown out every idea you can imagine. Maybe fumes rising off that alcohol cargo panicked the crew into thinking she'd explode, so they piled into the lifeboat. Maybe an underwater earthquake. Maybe a waterspout. Some people went further, a giant squid, even something supernatural. And here's the strange part, the story got so famous that fiction crept into the facts. In 1884, a young Arthur Conan Doyle wrote a short story based on the mystery, full of invented details. It was so popular that people started spelling the ship's name wrong, Marie Celeste, and that wrong version stuck. The line between what really happened and what someone made up got blurry fast. And the Mary Celeste story didn't end with the mystery. She kept sailing under new owners. Then in 1885, this is real, her captain deliberately ran her aground off the coast of Haiti as part of an insurance fraud. He tried to cheat money out of the very ship whose name had become a symbol for the unexplained. That was the actual end of her. The crew from 1872, though. They stayed gone. No bodies. No survivors. No message. Nothing. That's why the Mary Celeste still gets talked about a century and a half later. It's not just that a ship was found empty, it's that everything else was normal. The food, the belongings, the cargo, all sitting there like the people just stepped out for a second and never came back. We have theories, but not one of them has ever been proven. And that gap, that space where the answer should be, is exactly what keeps people coming back to her. The Mary Celeste turned into a phrase we still use for anything abandoned with no explanation, because sometimes the ocean takes people, and it just doesn't tell you how. If unexplained mysteries like this keep you up at night, hit subscribe, we dig into a new one every week. And drop your best theory in the comments, fumes, foul play, or something we haven't thought of.